Hello, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. This is Mike Long before I start in. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. Marquita here, and today I'm going to be talking about my goals for 2025. Yes, I know it is essentially March, but the point is that we have goals and we have set them. And I actually have a vision board I'm going to share with you guys. And hopefully, this will be motivating and possibly inspiring to some of you who may still be thinking about what you kind of want to do for the rest of the year. It's still early, we still in the first quarter. You still got 3 quarters left, so you can still dream and get creative, get to work, and make it happen by the end of 2025 if that's your vision, that's your goal. So I'm gonna start off with my vision board, kind of share that with you guys, and kind of explain what some of the things mean and how they're relevant to everything. And then I'm going to share my 3 goals for 2025. So the vision board is kind of a piece of that, but it's also going to be some other goals as well. So before we get started, please be sure to like and subscribe. The likes go a long way. They help tell me that you enjoyed the content, the video, the video also gets pushed to others when you share and like, or I'm sorry, not share. Obviously, it goes to others when you share, but when you like, it also helps bump the video so that it gets visibility. So please, please, please be sure to give those thumbs up and also subscribe. I see I have a couple of new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and hopefully you will enjoy your stay. So let's get into the vision board here. Nothing super fancy. I did it what I call the old-fashioned way because it is, get some magazines, clip it out, put it on some poster board. A lot of people now do digital vision boards, meaning you can go on like Pinterest, or I think there are some apps and things specifically for that you can go on and do if that's what you choose to do. But again, I like it the old fashioned way where you get the magazines. I also had a ton of old magazines I needed to go through and then toss out. So I put them to good use by picking through them to get some of the photos and wording for this vision board. Now, this I'm going to put up in my office slash guest room, just kind of as a daily reminder for myself, along with my 2025 goals. I think I'm going to type up and put in a cute little something and also post them up just to kind of remind me again what my purposes are, what my goals are, especially on those days when you like, I'm over this job, and you're like, remember those goals, you need this job right now. But maybe one day if you hit some of those goals, you'll be in a different place. So vision board is here. Let's go through it. You will notice there's probably a lot of locations or pictures of locations here. And part of that comes from the fact that I want to do more traveling. And you'll see it says like travel, getaway, good times, all of that. And I just noticed that I used to go places like, whether they were local or just for the weekend. Like I would just get in the car and go. And I have found that I stopped doing that in the past few years. And I don't really know why. In some cases, obviously, we were in the pandemic, so we know why, at least for a year or so, that didn't really happen. But, I just kind of found that I gotten out of that habit of just getting up and going. And some of it's because I'm older and I'm tired. So some weekends, I really just want to relax. Like just the idea of doing something other than getting out of my bed is tiring. But I think that I can be tired somewhere else. Like I can be tired in a hotel room with a view of the beach. I can be tired, somewhere traveling or whatever. So I think I'm going to focus more on that, and also planning and budgeting for those trips so that I can just take a weekend somewhere. And with my job, having the flexibility working from home, having the flexibility to, be able to work. If I do travel, I can still work if I want to take, say, a longer vacation that wasn't on the weekend, or if I just want to go during the week, because a lot of times I do prefer to travel during the week because, one, if you're going somewhere that has places, sometimes the weekday things are available than on the weekends, or they're less crowded, which for me is perfect. So I'd rather do that. So I love having that flexibility, but also I have plenty of time, PTO. So we want to use that. And let's see, what else are we going to? Some other words on here. We have just words that are representative of kind of like what I want for life in terms of just peace and living life and living. It says live beautifully and love and all of those things. So right now I have those things, and I want to keep them. It says no good vibe. I mean, no bad vibes. Definitely don't want those. And that includes like, people, because one thing that you can realize is that sometimes people, you may not see it at first, but sometimes people can really just always seem to have like kind of a bad vibe. Like they're always having an issue. Either somebody did something to them, or they're mad at somebody, or they don't want to do things, they have a reason for all these things, or they're not consistent. They're just always, there's always something, always got some drama. Everybody has drama now and then, but like if you find yourself always with an issue, either just a general issue happening to you or issue with people, it's probably you. Yeah, like you are contributing to that in some way. And you probably need to stop and figure out how that's happening. So no bad vibes. We don't want that. So good times, good people, good everything. Good vibes only, no bad vibes, good times. And then mostly just places. Work-life balance is up here. And I will say that I do happen to have a pretty decent one right now. And reading, that's something that I've been getting into in the past couple of years. I've gotten back into. I used to be a very avid reader and just kind of fell off, and now I'm getting back into it. And you guys have seen the book reviews and things that I do. I also have a Goodreads. It is linked down in the description. I haven't posted in a while, but I'm going to try and get back into that because I've read a lot of books. I've done reviews on here. I haven't even done a review on Goodreads. So I'm trying to get back into doing that, plus books that I added that I have already read, just doing reviews for those too. So I'm really trying to focus more on getting that kind of up to date and sharing that information. Explore Canada. For those who have been on the channel for a while, you know that I did go to Toronto last year. That was on there, and I did mention it. Some of these things I cut out. I cut out for 2024, and I never made the board. So some of these things overlap, and so I used them. So you may see things that I accomplished in 2024, but I still plan to do or want to carry over into 2025. So one of them is exploring Canada. I did go to Toronto last year. I want to go back to Toronto this year and also hop over to Quebec because you can take the train. It's like a 5 hour, 6 hour train ride over there. And so what I want to do is maybe go back and split my time between the two places. Um, and I also do more touristy stuff in Toronto, like in the center city where I stayed at when I went before. I stayed out in the suburbs. So being able to stay in the center city and do a little bit more of that stuff and things within that area is my plan. So I'm figuring that out. Hopefully I'll be able to make that happen. I have a friend who just relocated to Texas and to Austin, Texas. And so I want to visit her. But there'll definitely probably be a fall event because Texas in the summer is not happening for me. Gardening, you guys know Sundays is my channel where I talk about my gardening and houseplants and all that stuff. So if you like that, make sure you check in on Sundays. Developing healthy habits and financial literacy. Healthy habits is more like like just eating better and cooking more, which I already do. And you see that also here, but I already do that. And part of that is by force because the area that I live in has more fast food. A lot of these sit down restaurants that I like are further out in the suburbs. So one, there's the fact that I would have to travel to them. And two, just as a financial thing, just saving more money. And I'm closer to grocery stores. So it's easier for me to cook, go to a grocery store and get something to cook than it is sometimes to get in a car and have to drive, further out into the suburbs to the restaurants that I like and order that. And another thing that I have found is that I have learned how to make some of my favorite foods that I used to eat out or go out to eat for. And so once you learn how to do that, it's like, well, I don't need to go out anymore. Like I used to be a big Olive Garden person. Chicken Alfredo is one of my favorite things. And I learned how to make it. And I think mine is better than Olive Garden's, to be honest. So now I make my own chicken Alfredo. I learned how to make the chicken and gnocchi soup, which is my favorite soup from Olive Garden. And that used to be my meal from there. I would go get chicken Alfredo and chicken and gnocchi, and it still hits. And honestly, when you are sick, I don't know what it is about what's in that chicken and gnocchi that doesn't. But whenever I feel a cold, as soon as I start feeling like that little tickle in your throat or whatever, the chicken and gnocchi soup knocks it right out. Not from Olive Garden. The one from Olive Garden knocks it right out. So I would highly recommend it. And I've made it myself, so I'm probably going to buy the ingredients soon and go do it again. I'm not sick or anything, but I just have a taste for it now that I've talked about it. But yeah, once you start learning how to make those things, like you don't have the desire to go out. And so that healthy habits, because it's being cooked at home, and also just cooking in general, and it will last me longer, because what I spend to purchase a one-time meal, I can spend that same money to recreate the meal and it be for multiple days. House is here because it is something that I'm working towards. So I'm not going to elaborate too much on that, but I'll just say that is a goal. You see here the African American Museum that's down in Charleston. I would like to visit that. That's also going to be probably something in the fall or a cooler time of year. Um, let's see, and I absolutely love Charleston in general. My dad's side of the family is kind of from there, and there's still people down there. I absolutely love it. Passion projects, and next to that it says don't quit, which is a good reminder. But passion projects include like this channel, but also I have a Cricut maker. I love crafting, cooking, crafting, my blog that I have up that I need to seriously work on. And you know how sometimes when you first start something, you have all these ideas and you want to try everything, and then you kind of narrow it down to things that you know, like this is the direction I want to go with this, or these are the things I want to hone in on. So now I'm at that point with my blog, and so I want to be updating it, kind of redesigning and getting that up and running. It's up, and you can see things on there, but I haven't posted anything in a while, and I want to revamp the layouts and all of that. So, yeah, so that is what it means by like passion projects for me. And then I just have other places that I want to go, events that I want to go to. Um, so hopefully I'll get to hit all of these places on here, and we'll circle back at the end of the year and see what got done and what may continue over, or at least where we're at. Because some of these things are like works in progress. So there are things that may carry over into 2026 anyway, but at least we want to get started and have a plan and be like, getting the ball rolling for them. So that's my vision board. I'm going to put that up in my office slash second bedroom to kind of remind myself. And then we are on to my 2025 goals. Now, these are three main goals that I have for myself. But there's some bullet points. So think like when you're doing like project management, or you're doing a project or a task or whatever, you have like the main thing, but then there are all these little steps you need to take to accomplish that thing. And so I have three big goals, and then I have little steps to help achieve those, or points to get there, kind of like what do you call them? I don't want to say midpoints, because it's not just a midpoint. It's like just all these little steps to the process. So the first goal that I have is focus on finances. And with that, that means, first of all, creating a visible budget. And what I mean by that is just doing a simple spreadsheet like an Excel or a Google Sheets. I'll probably use Google Sheets. I'm a Google girly, and I just like the way Google Sheets looks, honestly, better than Excel. But creating that visible budget and really honing in on, what's coming in, what's going out. And believe it or not, I don't have that. I know a lot of people do that nowadays. I know there's so many programs and so many things very easy to get to, but I'm not there yet. But I am going to get in there probably starting April. I do have some things I'm trying to wrap up in this month before I start getting super nailed down with that. So I'm thinking April is my target time to really be able to just say, here, we're on track. Sacrificing is starting, whatever we need to do what we need to do financially. Um, Next with that is evaluate spending and cut costs when possible. So part of that goes into the creating a visible budget. But once I create that visible budget, I can see exactly what's going where in terms of the money. And if I can lower costs, I get a cheaper plan for something, or even cut something altogether, or maybe consolidate, or find a cheaper tool, or what a service or whatever it is for that, then do that. I don't think I have any what I call um ghost expenses, meaning those are things that you you forgot about or you don't know about. For example, when you sign up for those free trials, for subscriptions, and then you just never cancel it, and you're getting billed for it and you don't realize that you're getting billed for it. I don't think I have any of those. But I do think that I have a lot of extra little subscriptions. They're like $2.99 here, $9.99 there, and those do add up. You might think, oh, this is only $9.99. Yes, but $9.99 times four, that's about $40. So just understanding. And one of the other things that I have looked into, or or I look at a lot of times when things offer annual subscriptions, you save money by paying for the annual subscription versus doing it monthly. And so there are a few things that I know I have on a monthly subscription right now that can be annual. And so those are things that I want to, sorry, looking at my hair bothering me. Sorry about that. Um, there are some things that I have on a monthly subscription that I know I can change into annual, and one that makes it easy because it's a one and done payment. It's gone. I don't have to think about it every month. Don't have to worry about something, that you forgot about getting zapped out of your account. But that's the first thing. And then for those things that are actually monthly, seeing if I could get another way to maybe budget it. For example, with some things like Apple subscriptions, they might be monthly, but like if I can buy an Apple gift card for that amount, I can just put that on my account and it pays for it. So even though it's not annual in the sense of I can't pay for it all up front, I can get a gift card for that amount and it just deducts from the gift card. That's the one good thing about Apple, is that if you do have any money on that account like that, like a gift card or whatnot, it'll take money off of that first before it hits your accounts. So that's one way. And that's another kind of like a tip or a trick. If you have subscriptions that are not necessarily available to pay annually, you can, and they have gift card options, you can just buy a gift card for the amount that maybe it would cost, or maybe if you want to pay it like 6 months up or something like that, you can do that and you don't have to think about it. So that is something you can do to help cut costs or to help minimize, things always coming out, a little bit here and there. Cause I don't know about you guys, but I hate having like all those things coming out all throughout the month and you don't really know like when it's coming. I wish there was a way to just set a date and say like all Apple subscriptions come out on this date so that I know they're happening. But I think they're based on when you started, whatever it is. So it comes out on that date every month. And there's really no way around it other than maybe canceling and restarting. So I think the next best thing available would be to get a gift card and let it cipher off of that. So that's where Focus on Financing comes in. Creating separate bank accounts for varying purposes. I already have two different banks and I already have multiple accounts. And but what I want to do is break it up even more to have, like, right now I have my main bank where my check goes, and I have a checking and savings and a credit card with that particular bank, my credit union. And then I have Capital One, and I have two checkings and a savings with them as well as a credit card. But what I want to do with my Capital Ones, because the Capital One does not have a minimum balance requirement, there's no like fees or anything, no overdraft, none of that. Then I want to use one of those accounts as my, what I call my bill account, meaning that once I know what my, sit down and figure out what all my bills will be each month, I want to make that the account where I put that money. And so when you can set your bills, I don't know if I'll do auto draft. And I'm going to tell you why, because sometimes auto draft messes up in two ways. It can either not draft for whatever reason, or if the bank is having an issue, it might get knocked off. There's so many things that can go wrong with auto draft. And then also it could I need to know what's being drafted. Like, I mean, I know what the amount should be. Sometimes errors happen and I don't want to have to be like, oh, y'all was supposed to say $50 and y'all took 80. What happened? And it'd be like, ooh, that was an error. Now we got to go through the whole process of getting your money back. Not So I don't want to do necessarily auto draft, but what I will do is set the account up and let it be the account when I, go in, log into those accounts and put in what account the payment will be coming from. It will be that account and have it draft out of there. So that's what I want to do, is just set up my own totally separate billing account. So that's the one that bills are paid from, so that I know the money in my other account is my money to spend and bills are paid. After that, there's also some money market accounts. I have a 403b, I have a 401k. I already have those things, but I want to do more interest bearing accounts that I can still access if I needed to. Like, for example, on money market, I could withdraw without penalties. Like 401ks and 403bs, those are really my retirements. So, like, if something really bad were to happen and I was in a very bad financial situation, I could access those, but it would be a big penalty to do that. Plus, that's my retirement. So I don't want to have to touch those. So for things that still gain decent interest, money market accounts and also some savings accounts. I know that even PayPal has a really good savings account interest rate wise, and so does Capital One. So I am looking into focusing on getting things into those accounts. And then with my credit union, they also have some separate accounts like a vacation club account and a like holiday spending, I think they call it. Basically, you can put money in there to save for like when you get ready to go like Christmas shopping or whatever else, so that you have that money put aside. And they are interest bearing accounts. And the same thing for vacation. You can put that money aside and you gain interest on it. And so the great thing about those is that's money that's put aside that's ready for you to use. So that's something I definitely want to do for like holidays and definitely for vacation. It's nice to have that over there because you never know when they might throw out a quick little flight deal or something you want to snatch up. And having that vacation account gives you that money that's over there and you can just, buy your flight or whatever else you might need to get. So I love having that. You can usually pull from them at least once outside of the allotted time frame that you're typically going to be pulling from them without penalty, and then anytime other than that, you will get charged like a little fee for dipping into it outside of the targeted time. So, like for example, the holiday account, I think it automatically transfers to your checking account or to wherever you designate it to in December or like November, end of November, beginning of December, something like that. So there's a time frame when it will automatically give you the money, and I think you can tap into it like once before then without penalty. So those are the types of things I'm talking about when it comes to um, creating multiple bank accounts for varying purposes, as well as interest bearing accounts, because I want my money to work for me. And the last thing with focusing on finances is paying down debts and increasing the credit score. Now, this is a prime example of where maybe picking up a little extra job or side job would be beneficial because I can pay my debts off quicker. And then I definitely won't have to worry about working that second job because I won't have anything else but regular bills, which are well within my paycheck. I can honestly say that most of my bills, my rent, and the other little bills I have to pay outside of rent can be paid out of almost one check. I would say probably maybe a couple $100s out of my second check because I usually get two checks a month or get paid twice a month. So one check goes to the rent and the expenses, and then the second one is kind of what I call like my fun check. I'm trying to break it up a little bit more to where maybe I do a half and half so that I'm not just like, down to a very small amount of money once I pay the rent and have to wait for that next check. I would like to be able to get to the point where I can take like half of that early check for earlier in the month check that pays the rent and then have half of that second check to be the rent payment instead of having to pay my rent in one check. But I'm grateful that I'm able to do it that way. So that's what I'm reshaping. So that's what I mean again by creating a visible budget and just kind of reshaping how I go about doing those things. So I might have to sit on the sidelines for shopping for a little bit, just until I can restructure some things. Next on that was all for focus on financing. So that's the big goal, focus on finance. And then two, shop black owned and small businesses. Now, this one is something that I've been doing pretty much since the pandemic. I've really focused on this. I even created a spreadsheet, but shopping black owned and shopping small businesses, most of the small businesses I shop are black owned. So that's not a big deal. But I would like to focus on doing that. And by doing that, that creates intentional spending because I have to plan for those items because it takes time. It's not like going in the store and just picking it up and coming home. If there's something that I'm really going to need and I want to use a small business for supplying that, then I need to make sure that I order it in enough time, that I have enough time for it to get to me and, use it. But if I'm just ordering for pleasure or just to support, then it is what it is. But I want to try and spend as much towards the black businesses and small businesses for my needs, even for essentials. Like I have just found, a new pancake mix company, Pancakes and Serve. I found a new detergent, like laundry detergent company, and they actually offer like the full range laundry detergent, softener, sheets, all of that. And so I plan on trying them this month as well. So those types of things, even with that, like just planning for it because I want to make sure that I have time to receive it and I'm not out of laundry detergent while I'm waiting on it. So those types of things. But again, intentional spending, meaning that I have to plan for it. I know where it's going. And that also keeps me out of the big box stores, which is great because we all know that when you go into the big box stores, you usually end up spending more money than you intended on spending because you're going to see other things. But if I'm home and I'm shopping on these sites specifically for the things that I'm looking for, then it minimizes overspending and overconsumption and supporting a small business. So that also ties into focusing on finances. So you'll notice that all three of the other two goals still kind of tie into the financial goal, which is like my overarching everything. And the last goal, number 3, is explore more. And what that means is just get out and have fun, see what's out there. I found that in the past few years, like I mentioned with the vision board, I haven't been going as many places, haven't been doing as much. And it doesn't have to be a major vacay. It can just be a weekend trip. I live within 2 hours of a lot of different places that are like tourist spots that people go to. And so I can definitely do a weekend away or maybe extended weekend or something like that. And again, with the job flexibility to be in different places and also still work, and I have plenty of leave on top of that. So just having all of those things, just doing more of that and just going and exploring. Even in Richmond, there's tons that I know about, that I haven't been to, that I haven't seen, that I haven't experienced yet. And that is on my list of things to do. So I'm really just about sitting down and kind of planning my life a little more. And I think sometimes when you really sit back and plan out some things, you make more happen because you're thinking about it versus just saying, oh, I'm just going to go with the flow. And if a festival comes up and I want to go, I'm going to go and blah, blah. It's like, no, yeah, you can do that. But also when you plan for it, you're financially prepared. You have that intention. Like, so again, it's just all about intention. And so with this, just exploring more. And so I have big trips and little trips, and hopefully I'll be taking you along with me on all of them. So those are all my goals, whether it be the vision board as well as my just overarching goals. But I think the big takeaway from this, or the big goal that I have, is just to focus on finances, or it's all financial, because getting those in order will help me achieve literally everything else that I'm trying to do. Those are my goals. Hopefully they inspired you, encouraged you to start thinking about some of your own if you haven't, or if you have thought about some and you're like, well, I don't know where to get started. Just sit down, think of your big goal. Like, for example, my focus on finances, that's the big goal. But then I created some little milestones. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Milestones to help achieve that. So that way you can see that you are making progress to that goal. So I would say definitely do that. Create a vision board. Who cares if it's March? You still got goals. You still got a vision. And the year is just getting started. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And feel free to drop what some of your goals are down in the comments. See you next time.